Greetings and salutations. And we're back with more of the Woodless run. Hopefully the final one. It's getting up there. I'm in double digit episodes now, and I didn't think to be fair, I didn't think it was going to be this long, but I also didn't think it was going to be I thought it was going to be longer. And the reason being is I thought I was going to go a lot longer before I actually found a village with a crafting table that I could requisition. Don't know why it's not loading. Oh, okay. Now it decided to want to load. Sure. But as soon as I hit the nether, that's it. Calling it. Done. And it's just been one of those long, drawn out rides. I've enjoyed it personally. I've enjoyed every second of it. No, I've enjoyed every second of it, 100%. Reason being, is because it's just creeper. Yeah, I'd be humming and hawing too. I don't want to pick up any of the logs, so we're not gonna. I knew I shouldn't have gone out. And all my food is inside. Shocker. I have not picked up a single wood block yet, and I don't intend to start. May not be the classiest replacement, but there. Stitched it up. We're good to go. Potato. Wait. Do I have anything else? No. Need more sticks, though. So I'll do that. And I'll take the potatoes out. Now, I only need to keep one potato, so we're going to bake the rest. I got to... So, I've watched quite a bit of anime over the past couple of days. I've watched the Akashic Records. It's like Akashic Records of the Lazy Magician or something like that. I've watched that over the past couple of days, and I also watched something else. It was really good. They were both absolutely solid anime, worthy of being. I guess I could say worthy of being rated what they are, but to go one further, what was the other one called? He ends up being reborn as the character he was playing as. A wild last boss appears. That's what it was. That's what it was called. And he is playing as his character from a game. Yeah, we're just gonna not tunnel down here. But he ends up playing as his character from a game. So he has this character named, I believe it's called Lufus. Or Lufa. Or not Lufa, it's Lufus. Anyway, he plays this, like, demon succubus. It's not demon succubus, but it's a, what are they called? They call him the Heavenborn or whatever like that. Anyway, long story short, the anime was rated like 9.2. And I'm like, why is it rated so high? You know, it sounds like your bog standard isekai anime. And sure enough, it is a bog standard isekai anime. with one exception. The storyline was really, really good. So much so that I was not expecting some of the like twists and turns at the end. There was like 2 or 3 plot twists, and I'm like, wait, didn't see that coming. And I love that. Absolutely love those plot twists. The Akashic Records of the Lazy Magician was alright. It was like an 8-star anime for what they gave, so I would say it would be about a 3.5, 4-star. The music was alright. Character development, very great teacher Onizuka. Very much great teacher Onizuka vibes. If you've ever watched GTO, well, if you haven't watched GTO, what have you been doing? If you are an anime enjoyer, let me just preface that. If you're an anime enjoyer and you haven't watched Great Teacher Onizuka, watch it. It's like 46 episodes long. It's a bit of a long one, but worth every episode. There's so much that it could teach people. It's ridiculous. Truthfully. There's a lot of life lessons to be learned in it, which is really cool. I mean, that's something that I do enjoy. I do enjoy it when you watch something and you can take... It's not necessarily a like an educational thing, and it's not like you can watch a program and it's not educational. It's not like a documentary or anything like that, but you can take away a life lesson from it and sit there and be like, you know what? I learned something from this. I gained knowledge from this, and it's meant to be an entertainment piece. When that happens, that is the most fulfilling thing I think an entertainment franchise could do. Because now you're connecting with people on a level that very few can actually achieve. Because now you're connecting with them on this level of, this person, watched your program and then thought, what if I applied that and started changing my life? Right? And then their life actually does change. Now, there is the point to be made that some people's lives might not change for the better by changing it. Which, valid. Some people might not. Some people might. I mean, you take a look at something as, I would say, kitschy, because it's about the only thing you can really ascribe to it, as Solo Leveling. Is it a good show? Yeah, it's a solid anime. It's got decent animation. Not as good as like Sentenced to be a Hero. Sentenced to be a Hero's got some absolutely stellar animation. And it's really good. And I like it a lot. But you take a look at something like Solo Leveling. It's inspired a fitness app where people actually go out and get daily quests that they have to finish in their fitness app. Now, obviously, I hate anything that really tracks metrics like that. Not just because it's fitness, but I'm saying anything that tracks any sort of metrics. Because if they're tracking metrics, they're gaining data on people. Potentially to be bought and sold. Potentially to be used against your will. Whether or not you agree to it or not. In the terms and conditions. So I don't like that. Because it doesn't feel so much like an invasion of privacy, but like a pseudo-invasion of privacy. Yeah. So it's like, they're not really invading your privacy because you're giving it up willingly, but at the same time, it still feels like they're invading your privacy because now they're selling that to other places. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how does that work then? Well, let me kind of lay it out for you. Let's say you go and you grab a fitness app, like the Solo Leveling fitness app, or the one styled after it, and you start using it. Given, you put in your height, your weight, your BMI, that kind of thing. And you put in your normal fitness level, and of course, obviously, it's going to probably give you, it's going to spit out all this stuff. The more you participate in it, and that you have your weight there, you'll start seeing advertisements for, GLP-1 pop up in your Facebook feed, or your Twitter feed, or wherever. And yes, I still call it Twitter because I still use the website. You type in twitter.com, it takes you there. Boom. Still Twitter. Nevertheless, you get this whole... You'll start getting advertisements for it. For like GLP-1, weightlifting sets, gym memberships. It'll happen. And people say, well, wait a minute, how on earth do they know this? How do they know I'm losing weight? Because it tracks that data. Now, it's not... They then sell that data to other companies. And those other companies make money by pushing products that you're hoping that they're hoping you will buy. This is how they make their money back when they purchase data. As for why does it get curated in other apps that are not linked, that's simple. Project Prism, Prism. For those that are not in the know, Project Prism was originally, it's now defunct, they claim, was originally a project that combines the efforts of the CIA, FBI, NSA, and a whole bunch of people, Google, Amazon, Facebook, YouTube. They all signed on. And the whole point of it was to effectively take data from one area and use it to curate results in another. It was a giant kind of like spy web, so to speak. And the Project Prism has now, they say is now defunct, but whenever you say that there's a program that's defunct, it just means they've put the kibosh to that program and probably rolled out something even better. And with smart TVs and smartphones and smart everything nowadays, you don't even have to have those. You could have open Wi-Fi in your house, and they can tell you exactly what you're saying, because your Wi-Fi can monitor your vocal cords. This has been not really known, but people have started finding that out, that Wi-Fi signals can bounce off of your vocal cords and know what you're saying, and then transmit that. So it can be picked up on. They don't even need parabolic microphones anymore. Just be within X amount of yards of an open Wi-Fi signal, and boom. It's like watching... it'll come to me in a second. Conspiracy theory plus enemy of the state. Somewhere in the middle of that. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. Conspiracy theory was where Mel Gibson was afraid that the government was coming after him. Well, turns out he was right. And he was afraid that he was part of a dark project where he was given massive doses of drugs to do nefarious things. Turns out he was right. And then you take a look at, say, enemy of the state, and it's a lawyer that does innocuous things, ends up running into this massive government operation. Ends up becoming an enemy of the government. And so they set out to ruin his life. Enemy of the State actually starred Jack Black. Well, I'm sorry, co-starred Jack Black. But it was literally just it was one of those things where they literally are telling you what's going on. In essence. Not entirely, because they're obviously not going to, come out and be like, hey, we're actually monitoring you. They secretly are. I mean, it's not gonna be a secret for much longer, because, those programs are going to the wayside. Of course, people are going to say I'm conspiratorial. And, yeah, you could probably say that. But then again, all you have to do is look up certain things, and it verifies conspiracy theories in a heartbeat. When I talked about weather modification, this was ages ago. I talked with a friend. I was like, I said they modify the weather, and they looked at me. They go, they don't modify the weather. They're like, nobody's actually controlling the weather. And I said, oh, really? And they're like, yeah. And I said, okay. So they just kind of sat there for a second, and I was like, then why is it they had the U.S. military seeding clouds in Vietnam to flood the Ho Chi Minh Trail to great success? With great success. And they just kind of looked at me and they go, okay, so? And I said, that's weather modification. It's like the actual definition of weather modification. And they just kind of looked at me like I had a horn growing out of my head. And I said, well, what's the problem? Like, but that's not what they're not modifying it for nefarious purposes. That was a combat theater. And it's like, yeah, but if they do it in the combat theater, what's to stop them from doing it here? Meow, cat thing. Move. And of course, you get the naysayers that are like, well, why on earth would they do it? Well, think about it. Let's really go down the conspiratorial rabbit hole, shall we? Why on earth would they go and test weather modification during war to then come back and use it here? Well, finances, money. Let's look into it, shall we? You have people in the government that do insider trading. They buy and sell stocks a lot. I mean, a lot. And in doing so, they are making a whole boatload of money. Now, defense stocks they do well when the country's at war. But unless they have a clear defined person they're going to war against, and it's going to be there for a long time, like the war on terror, those defense stocks aren't really picked up often. But crop futures are wheat, citrus, beans, potatoes, you name it. They all buy them. Now, how do you want to make your crop have a bumper? How do you want to have the harvest be a bumper crop? Simple. There's enough knowledge out there you can know the prime temperatures and the prime of everything that needs to grow so that it grows the best it possibly can. And you curate those conditions using cloud seeding. You can seed the clouds to put particulate in the air to make it rain. You can seed the clouds to remove particulate to make it not rain. You can seed it in one area so that it's only cloudy and it rains elsewhere. And so now you have a wheat harvest that's a bumper crop. Oh, you just so happen to have wheat futures and you sell them. You made a tidy profit. Now so did the farmers though. But did they? A bumper crop of wheat, yeah, helps out this farmer, maybe the next one, but if everybody had it, now there's too much. Now the price of wheat tanks. So you get the bumper crop of wheat, you sell your stock off before the farmer could sell off all other materials, and now the farmer's left holding the bag with a whole bunch of wheat that they can't use. And now it's not selling. This actually hurts the farmer. This is why they get subsidies too from the government. Not necessarily for insider trading, but they get subsidies from the government. The government comes by and says, don't plant. Why not? You don't have a use for it? You can't just donate it for food aid? Why are you running around paying farmers not to plant? I know this because I live in an area that's quite rural and we have quite a few farmers, and a few of them actually get subsidies. One of them got $250,000 to not plant a cornfield. $250,000. They spent it on like tractor maintenance and other things that they had to maintain at their house for the farm. But still, you're paid $250,000 to just sit there all year and let it go fallow. Well, what do you gain out of it as an official? You can alter the corn prices. It's all game. Now, the other reason that they want to seed the clouds, if you have a prime piece of property, say with a mineral under it, lithium, coal, whatever they want, they can flood it out so much that you move. Then they come in and they buy it pennies on the dollar. That's what they gain by weather modification. It's all about money. Now you also have to think, well, okay, so they do these weather modification things. What if it actually harms the people and they don't live as long? That's great for them. Think about it. Social Security, with everybody living longer, they're paying in. You take a look, they pay in X amount of dollars. Let's say they pay in $100,000 during their lifetime. There's no way, retiring at the age of 65, that they're going to get that $100,000 back before they pass. Not going to happen. Because old grandpa's going to croak long before he gets that 100,000 back. Long before. My father died before he could pull out all of the stuff that he needed to from Social Security that he paid in. I mean, my mother now gets, because she's the widow, she now gets the remaining. Hi, Enderman. And of course, I don't have a pumpkin. And now you're going to prevent me from building. Classic. Anyway. My father couldn't get as much money out of Social Security as he paid in. Seriously, Enderman, knock it off. Do you want me to kill you? See that? See that? Good sign. Awesome. With my mother collecting his Social Security, it's like, you know, she's getting up there in years too. What are the chances she's going to be able to pull off what's remaining of his Social Security that he paid in? Slim to none. Not to mention that Social Security was used and has been used as a kind of like a slush fund, a pseudo slush fund. More people pay in than they can draw out of, and I'm pretty sure that gets funneled through back channels. Can't verify. I'm making an assumption. It's an opinion. I'm just making an assumption. It just seems a little weird. That's all. Now, we have this whole. You have this whole idea that, hey, as Americans, you want to get back all your money, right? Of course, everybody would. You paid in, it's your money. The government doesn't care about that. But you see, the more you pay in, if you could somehow shuffle off your mortal coil earlier, that's more money for them. More of your money they get to keep. Now, of course, people would say, well, you're saying the government's plotting to kill people? Not really. But I also wouldn't shove it under the rug. There's possible. I mean, other governments have over many, many years. Red China, Stalin, Pol Pot. You name it. I mean, if they take over and they have power, that's what happens. A lot of it happens, actually. But, they say, well, that'll never happen here. Well, but are you sure? Are you sure about that? Not to be the John Cena meme, but yeah, are you sure about that? I mean, the potential is there. Now, of course, everybody's gonna, you know, the conspiracies will be flying around, and of course, there's a lot of people out there that don't even interact with the comments in these videos, mostly because I guess they want to distance themselves from somebody that has rants or might be seen as a little bit kooky, even though I don't think I am. Of course, that's subjective. People would say, well, of course you don't think you are, but others will. Fair. Fair. And they're allowed that opinion. I have no issues with it. One of those things. Alright. Now that I have diamonds, I can get a diamond pickaxe. Then, wrong thing. I need one. Because I don't want to carry the rest with me, I'm going to put them right there. I'm going to take out the diorite and I'm going to ditch it. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. Do I take my buckets and make the obsidian elsewhere? I'm thinking yes. That's what I'm thinking. There, I'll hold on to all that. I hate it when he makes that sound. I'll go get the water, and I'll make the obsidian elsewhere. Playing too much Satisfactory, I held shift. Run again. Perhaps some surface magma might do it. If I can find it. Ooh, that's not good. Oh, I need to find some surface lava. But I also need to not lose my... Wow, that bamboo gets pretty tall. I also need to not lose my bearings here. There's sand. That's potential. There's pumpkins. Over here to the sand. Another village, too. There was one village that had magma near it. At least I thought. Could be wrong. But back to what I was saying. There's a lot of nefarious stuff that goes on that people don't assume goes on. Maybe it's because they want to have innocence about it. Maybe it's because they want to turn a blind eye to it because perhaps they don't think that somebody is capable of it. Believe me. People out there are definitely capable of certain things that you wouldn't think. And it's not good. Now, the big question is how do you hold them accountable? Well, that's the problem. I've mentioned how to hold some of the politicians, not really accountable, but how to hold them in such a way that you have the power wrested away from them. And it's all within the founding documents, of course. All above board. Now, of course, they're not going to like it, but whatever. I didn't want to get political today. I just didn't, but what happens when you're mindlessly mining in a downward spiral? All right. Ah, that's what the sound was the turtles. Now, if I could only find surface lava, that's the struggle. Struggle is real. Ow. I don't really want to go on such a large sojourn that I don't. Ooh, pumpkins. I could go maybe get one of them. 'Cause I don't want to go on this massive travels. There's the thing over there, so I do want to get back there by nightfall. If I get the pumpkin, maybe, just maybe, there's something in this village. Potentially lava nearby. There's pumpkins. Was that a cat just attacking an iron golem? That's what it looked like. I probably have pumpkins back at the village. The fact that it didn't pop up and say, new recipe. Maybe it's your golem. Kid, you're not supposed to leave the door open. What are you, born in a barn? No. Now comes the hard part. Finding lava. Kind of like finding Nemo, just a much higher temperature. But we're potentially near the end. That's a good thing. Not because I don't like doing this series. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's one of the most fun things I've done in a while. But it's just seeing something come to completion always has that catharsis, right? Because you're just like, well, I did this and I finally did it. I finally got it done. Not that it's. I'm going to compare the two, but the comparison is going to make people say that's not even remotely close. It's like an Olympian sitting there and taking second, taking third, and they're sitting there and they just know they've got it in them to finish out and win. They know they have it, right? So they finally get that gold medal, and a weight's lifted off their shoulders. That release, that catharsis, that whole take a deep breath and be like, I did it. That's the same feeling. The absolute same feeling. Just on a much smaller scale and less competitive. But still the same feeling. Because it's this you take a deep breath and you just kind of let it out and go, that's done. It's finally over. That kind of thing. That kind of feeling is just that's what this whole run is about, is getting to that point where you just take that breather and you just kind of exhale and realize, I did it. The thing I set out to do is completed. It's done. Right? We're not there just yet, but we're gonna get there. It's part of the journey. I just planted that. That's fine. My horse has just been chilling there for Lord knows how long. Yeah, I got pumpkins. I don't know why I just went out there to go harvest another pumpkin. That's because I didn't have shears. That's why. Now I can make shears and then carve the pumpkin. Sure, beat it with a concrete slab. That makes a lot of sense. Not gonna need the shears for much. The carved pumpkins, just in case I run into another Enderman. Do I even have a helmet? Yes. I have a helmet and a chest plate, but nothing else. We're nearing the end. I just need lava. That's all I need now. If I can find one big lava flow, 8 pieces of lava, I could do it. Because you could just make a little bucket brigade, fill it with two things of water, have an endless water source right in the middle, and you just pour water on it. You bucket brigade it. You can chisel through lava that way. I just gotta get down to bedrock level, start making a tunnel, and then I'll put a door on it. Actually, wait, do I have? I don't have enough wood for a door. I have metal for a door though. And I need a button. I can make a stone button. Aha! Make an iron door. I get 3 of them. I don't really need 3 of them, but... Oh, I can make a lever. Sweet. That's a clever thing. I make a clever lever. Yeah. Because then I'll just go down, put a door down, pull the lever, start walking some way, and find lava. Well, not start walking somewhere, but start cutting a hole in a direction and find lava. That's hopefully what's going to happen. Now that I'm at deep slate level, I should probably do that. I should probably level off what's down here. You know, get to the level I need to, and then just cut a hole and start torchlighting it up, that kind of thing. Yeah. Hate that sound. That's the sound of impending death and doom and despair. Sadly. I know. I'd hear people saying in my ear right now, you have a bucket of water. Yeah, you could have jumped off there and just thrown the bucket of water down and landed in it. Okay, let me stop you right there. Nothing is foolproof to a sufficiently talented fool. You're looking at a sufficiently talented fool. No doubt I would try that, and I would just go splat right at the bottom. Now, it's not like I have this on hardcore, but I don't believe that I've died yet either, so... I may have died one time, way back in the early stage. I did die one time in the early stages of it. I went and I used land navigation to reclaim my body. That's right. Because I thought when I died I was going to, it's like, boy, that just made me lose progress. And I was like, wait, I remember this land. I remember that land. And I had this massive land nav. Now, let me tell you right now. If there was a map system or an atlas system, it would have to be an atlas because it'd be at the globe, that you could not necessarily make maps, because I know they have the cartography table, and I know about that. That's not what I'm talking about. If you could actively map out, like by hitting M or something like that, and show everywhere you've been on a global scale, that would be cool in Minecraft, if you think about it. Be one of the coolest things ever, because then you could just, like, not necessarily while you're, like, walking or anything like that, but, like, maybe after you build a map on a cartography table using paper, you could hit M and bring up the atlas and show everything where you've been, right? Because I know that you can, connect maps together to make like a giant map of like the world or whatever. And I know that that's possible. But getting it to function the way you want it to function, you had to... Oh, wow, more diamond. I didn't even look at it. Oh. It's 20 levels I'll never use. Of course, you know me. No matter where I build the nether portal, it's gonna just get me slaughtered. Actually, anybody that knows me knows that. It's kind of like Diablo 3. Now, people are gonna think, what do you mean it's like Diablo 3? What are you on? You old man, you're losing your mind. Hear me out. Diablo 3. I have absolutely abysmal luck in Diablo 3 when it comes to making greater rifts. I haven't played Diablo 3 in ages. Like, ages and ages and ages. But greater rifts. I am absolutely awful at greater rifts. I make one, and it has minions in it that are high density. They're like mallet lords and pit lords, and they're just blowing fire, and they're vortex. They pull me in and they hammer me to death. Terrible. Absolutely awful. But my friend loved my portals, because he would make a portal and it's like all skeletons and easier mobs because they have less health. Because they're basically the mob's health changed based on the difficulty you went in your rift, but the mob's health also changed based on the type of mob, right? And the variations of mob. And he was getting mobs that were just easier, like zombies, skeletons, very flimsy mobs, and they would just fall over dead. So he was clearing rift after rift after rift, and he's like, well, these aren't really a challenge. I said, well, let me make it. He goes, well, what difference is it going to make? I said, just trust me. Let me make it. Okay. So he let me make it. After I made one rift, he's like, you're making all the rifts from now on. I said, why? He's like, I like your rifts. Your rifts have difficult monsters. Your rifts have a lot of monsters. He's like, the monster density is crazy. He's like, what do you do? And I said, I put the stone in the rift portal and I pull the lever. And then it's just my RNG rearing its ugly head to go, you know, we're going to mistreat this person over here because reasons. And it's true. Now, more to my RNG. Now, I did have an interesting conversation with I'm gonna guess it's a gentleman, just from the username and the interaction and the way they spoke. I'm gonna guess it's a gentleman. I would go so far as to say I had a wonderful conversation with an individual, and this individual was very outspoken about my Balatro play, which, fine, everybody's welcome to have that opinion. And I sat there and I'm like, okay, well, you know, telling them that my luck is absolutely awful and that, you know, I'm sorry about that, but my luck is terrible. Sweet. Okay, well, this is going to get expanded out, so. Because I hate being in a box. I usually go 3 wide, 4 tall. I can technically mine in here all night long. I don't want to, because the outside will be filled with mobs and killing me. So, I'm not going to do that. Gotta get back up there. At any rate, we were having this discussion about my Balatro RNG. And I said, the RNG is like I can't pivot at the right time because the cards don't come up. But I said, that's just how it is. I said, I could sit there and get a Joker and it just doesn't happen, right? And this happened earlier today. Not on camera, but I was playing Balatro and I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it again. Let's see what I can, see what happens. See what I can get. See what I can do. Well, about, I don't know, a couple of hands in Balatro and, not even hands, I'm sorry. A couple of, rounds in Balatro. With a couple of rounds in Balatro, I found out that my RNG truly does not change at all. So I got the Joker reserve parking. I really had to think about it. I'm sitting here just like straining my mental capacity. I got the Joker reserve parking. And I thought, okay, that's a great economy Joker. It just holds some, face cards in my hand. It'll proc. No big deal. We got it covered. Well, let me just say this. No, did not work that way. I sat there and I was like, well, no big deal. I'm sure it's not gonna mean much. We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll proc. It'll proc. It didn't proc at all. There was one of the blinds I played. I think it was a 3 of a kind with like 2 extra cards that weren't the face cards. There was 4 face cards in my hand. No, it was the 3 of a kind with I think 1 extra card because you get 8 cards. There was 4 cards in my hand. I had exactly 0 procs. It's a 1 in 2 chance. It legitimately is a 50-50 coin flip for that Joker. Ooh, it's a gold chip colored horse. Look at that. 50-50 coin flip on it. 0 out of 4 procs. That's my type of RNG. Now, of course, a lot of people would be like, well, it happens. That's the game. That's how it is. True. I'm not going to deny that. That is the game. That is how it goes. But there's also the point of when I say my RNG is bad, believe me, it's bad. For those of you that are aware of World of Warcraft, you'll know the person I'm talking about when I say Vulcan. Well, in World of Warcraft Classic, and I don't know if he's still in there now, but there's a rare spawn that wanders around the burning steppes. This rare spawn is named Vulcan, Volchan. Vulcan has a very long patrol. He patrols about 70% of the burning steppes in a big loop. So, as he's patrolling his big loop, I logged out on my character. I didn't know he had spawned. No idea. I logged out on my character. I went downstairs. I said, you know what? I'm going to get dinner. This is back when I have my computer upstairs now, but this is back when I had my computer upstairs because there was a time that I had my computer downstairs too. Anyway, I had my computer upstairs, and I was like, I'm going to go down. I'm going to get dinner. No big deal. So I go down, take half hour, 45 minutes, eat my dinner, chat. No big deal. Go back upstairs, log on my warrior because I needed to do some farming for some rune cloth. And I logged on, and as I logged on my warrior, I started taking huge chunks of my health, and I'm like, what gives? I logged on directly under Vulcan on his walking path. a giant, slow, walking molten giant that's a rare spawn, and in the infinitely tiny chance that it happens, I log on under him. Warrior immediately dies. I go and I get my stuff. I go get my body. And I'm like, you've got to be joking. I didn't even want to farm stuff after that. I was like, nah, I'm done. Like, logging on underneath a rare spawn while it's patrolling and I log on directly under it, that's astronomically bad RNG. That's my RNG. So it makes you wonder how I ever got it to Diamond 5 in Hearthstone. Makes me wonder every single day of the week. I hear zombies. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, and then one more makes it 4, so that's great. And yes, I do that every 4 blocks. It's the way I gauge how deep I've been mining. You just count the torches and you know it's every 4 blocks. So you could be like 4, 8, 12, 16. That's how I do it. Heard the bat squeak off to my left. Which means there's a cave system. Or, sorry, not left, right. Which means there's a cave system off to my right. Do I want to go there? Not particularly, but I will if I need to. I'm just trying to listen for lava. I don't think I'm going to hear any. So I really don't think I'm going to find any yet. It just shows how strange and odd my mind travels. Started out talking about anime and what was good, what's not. Went to politics, then went to then turned around and started talking about like Diablo 3 spawns and then RNG. Yeah, that's how it goes. And people would say, well, wait a minute, that just means you're scatterbrained or that you got ADHD. No. It's more of that stream of consciousness sort of thing, where you start talking about something and then it somehow vaguely links to something else. The only reason I stopped the political talk is because I didn't really want to get political today. That's more of a Diablo 2 video thing. I sit there and I go off into the weeds, wax philosophically and wax. I can't even say wax poetically, but kinda on other videos like that. Wax politically, I should say. Good, it's still daylight out there. I'm gonna dig a little bit further and then I'll call it a day. Then I'll call it a video too. Should have lava by the next one though, which means I should have obsidian by the next one. If I have obsidian, I have some obsidian already. Picked it up from inside the chest at the derelict portal. So knowing this means I should be able to do it. Now I just have to find a place to put the portal. I'll probably put it right there in the middle of the village. Sounds like a winner to me. Stuff will come pouring out of there. Should probably put a building around it, put an iron door on it. Prevent creepers and everything from getting in it. I've had horror stories on it, so don't worry. Some of the horror stories I've had about it, though, I can actually go do better than explain. I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, I have 2 obsidian, and I already have a flint and steel ready for it. But I'm gonna sleep through this night, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about with the other one. Oh, I should probably dig a splashdown pool so I can just jump from up top all the way down into the water, go crashing into it, and then get up the next, or just walk around. Yeah, I'll probably do that at some point in time. But the one thing I will say, I do not make progress on here off camera. This world is only, pardon me, from when I record. Not once. Like, there are times I'll start it up and I won't move, and then I'll start the video recording. I don't actually ever do anything in this world productively without having it being recorded. It's almost like a journal, which is kind of funky to look at it that way, but that's kind of what it feels like too. I think this is like video 11 or 12 now. It took us 4 videos, by the way. For anybody that's viewing these videos, it took me 4 videos just to find a salvageable crafting table. And how I'm going to end it? I'm going to tell you how I'm going to end it. So, it's under my Stream RTX quality. I'm going to load that world anyway. Yeah, sure. Because this is the horror story I'm going to tell you about. The reason why I'm going to end it a very specific way, and I need to get updates on my borderless glass, but I haven't yet. The reason why I'm going to end it the way I'm going to end it is after I go into the nether, I'm going to come back out of the nether, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go mine a log after I've gone into the nether on the other world. Because my entire thing on the other world was get to the nether without using wood. Now, I've not picked up a log at all on the other world. Not one. So if I pick up a log, you'll see it'll say new crafting recipe, thus verifying I never picked up a log. But for the people that have not seen this world, this is the one that I made megaliths on. If you haven't seen it, I can show you some stuff real quick. I did make a video before, but I don't really want to spend too much time on it. This gives the best viewpoint. Well, not the best viewpoint. It gives it the second best. Eye of Sauron with stained glass, and there's the tower made out of deep slate. With my old RTX stuff on, the sunlight would go through there, and you'd see the Eye of Sauron kind of like drift across. It was really cool. I was building a Colosseum. Kind of stopped. Built a Tough. That's a 3D letters. It's out of Tough. That was going to be a Tree of Life, and that was going to be the end point for the Tree of Life, for the trunk, and I was making it out of oak logs, and you can see how far I've gotten. Giant copper creeper, inside of a pantheon. And this is all built by hand, by me. I was going to make a Kick logo because I was streaming on Kick at the time, and I haven't touched this world since. An endless cobblestone miner, big pumpkin patch because I was going to build a jack-o'-lantern house. And I just built this whole thing. There's 2 mining places. That's the bedroom, another bridge. And yeah, this is what we've built. I built the most of it. There was one thing that Peter built, and it's over in there. But, trampoline. Great use for slime, by the way. I kind of just did this whole domestic thing. Like, really wanted to be like, domesticate the entire world kind of thing. I always build, as you can see there, I always build crops on the roof of my house. There's also a thing under here. Under the well. There's another mine shaft that I built. Yeah. Somebody else was using it as like a secret little hideout kind of thing. Which is fine. I had friends pop on. This is not a server, but I had friends pop on. But there's a creeper. I still needed bones for the bone pillar. That's completely hollow inside. It's all polished diorite. That's all cut stone, solid. Placed it all by hand. Made it all by hand. Because right over here is what made it. Endless cobblestone generator. And then right here is where I'd smelt it all. As you can see, I had stone already made up. Don't know what I was planning to use it for, but there's that. Here's a chest with some stuff in it, obviously, blah, blah, blah. But let's go to the nightmare, shall we? I built this nether portal originally. Oh, yeah, fishing pond. Right there. I built that nether portal. I had to block it off, by the way. I built that nether portal originally because I wanted to go to the nether for netherrack to make like a decorative fireplace kind of thing. Whatever. No big deal. But I built it and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the nether. So I went to the nether. Let me show you the horrors that lie within. I had to put doors and encase it completely. You'll see. When I spawned in here, we torched it all up. But when I spawned in here, you could see now there's 3. And yes, you're hearing slimes in here. That's lava slimes. But there's 3 nether portals, and the reason why there's 3 nether portals is because it was bad. So we tried to tunnel out this way. It didn't work. I had somebody that was trying to explore. He didn't make it too far. That was Peter. There's gold right back there. But that's neither here nor there. What happened was I spawned in and there was not a whole bunch of stuff here. I was in this little tiny locked in area. Down there, as you can see, is death. Just straight death. So can't go that way. Down there, more death. Oh, by the way, those are creeper holes. Out here, vertical descent into death. Now, people would want, there are some people out there that play Minecraft and they play it all the time and they would love this spawn. Because they'd be like, look at where you are. I have no idea where I am. Nevertheless, it's just death no matter what we do. See? Doesn't matter where we go. Literal death and horrors await. I told my friend Peter, who he's like, oh, I don't have a problem going to the nether. I don't have a problem going to the nether at all. I said, Peter, you don't want to go to my nether. And he goes, why? I said, because. I said, I'm going to tell you. The reason I had to block this off, this is going to be the last thing I tell you, is because what happened was when the nether portals left out in the open, zombies, creepers, skeletons, anything that wants to get away from being outside during the daytime, Enderman too, will go in that portal, and they'll stand just underneath the bricks so that they don't burn, and then they teleport through. And when they get on the other side, they're perfectly fine. So when Peter went through the door and he teleported into the portal, you just see Peter was blown up by a creeper. When I went through there one time, it was just all skeleton archers and zombies just waiting for me. It was bad. Very bad. So I told him back then, I said, you don't want to do that. And he goes, why not? I said, you just don't want to do that. He found out. But nevertheless, it didn't stop him. He went back in and he started tunneling around because he wanted to continue doing stuff. But we haven't played that in a while. And it's been that way ever since. I just need to get new texture packs for it. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed the Woodless survival. Hopefully by the end of next one, we'll have the lava in order to make the obsidian, in order to get to the nether. And then I can end it. And I hope you enjoyed the reason why I don't make nether portals. That one was just instant death back in the day. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I know I did. And I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.